The Whisper on the Frozen Lake. I never believed in ghosts until that winter at the cabin on Lake Tahoe. My name is Sarah, and after my divorce I needed escape. The old family cabin on the North Shore was perfect, isolated, surrounded by endless pines, with the lake frozen solid under a blanket of snow. No neighbors for miles, just me, a stack of books, and the silence I'd been craving. I arrived in early January during a brutal cold snap. The temperature dropped to -20 at night. The lake was a vast sheet of ice, cracked in places but thick enough to walk on. Or so the locals said before I cut off contact. The first few days were bliss. I'd chop wood for the stone fireplace, brew coffee, and sit on the private pier watching the mist rise off the ice at dawn. The loons were gone for winter, but sometimes I'd hear strange cries echoing across the frozen water, eerie, almost human. On the fourth night, the wind howled like a living thing. I was reading by the fire when I heard it, a faint whisper from outside. "Help me!" I froze. It sounded like a woman's voice, muffled by the storm. I grabbed a flashlight and stepped onto the porch. Snow swirled in blinding gusts. The lake stretched out black and endless under the moon. Nothing, just wind. I told myself it was my imagination, divorce stress, isolation. Went back inside, locked the door. But the next night it came again, closer this time. "Sarah, help." My name, clear as day. My heart slammed against my ribs. I peered through the frosted window. In the moonlight, far out on the ice, I saw a figure, tall, thin, standing motionless. Too far to make out details. But it looked like a woman in a long coat, hair whipping in the wind. I shouted, "Who's there?" No answer. The figure just stood. I called the sheriff's office the next morning. But the roads were blocked by drifts. "Probably a hiker lost in the storm," the dispatcher said. "We'll check when it clears." That afternoon, I researched the cabin's history on my spotty satellite internet. Nothing unusual, built in the 1950s, owned by my grandparents. But local forums mentioned old legends. A woman named Eliza who drowned in the lake back in 1923. Her fiancé left her at the altar. She walked out onto thin ice in her wedding dress and vanished. They never found the body. Locals said on cold nights she calls for help, using your name if you're alone. I laughed it off. Superstition. But that night the whispers were inside the cabin. "Sarah, come out." It's so cold. I barricaded the door, piled furniture against it. The voice circled the house, scratching at the windows. Frost formed on the glass in the shape of handprints from the outside. I didn't sleep. Dawn broke gray and silent. No footprints in the snow around the cabin. No sign anyone had been there. Relief washed over me. Hallucination from cabin fever. I bundled up and walked to the pier for fresh air. The ice gleamed under weak sun. In the distance, that same figure stood on the lake, closer now. I squinted. It wore a white dress, soaked and frozen stiff. Long dark hair covered its face. It raised an arm, beckoning. Against every instinct, I stepped onto the ice. It creaked but held. "Hello?" I called. "Are you okay?" The figure turned slowly. Where a face should be. Just a hollow darkness, like the ice had swallowed her features. Then it whispered, not from the lake but inside my head. "You're here now. Stay with me." The ice cracked beneath my feet. A deafening groan. I tried to run back, but the surface spider-webbed, splitting open into black water. I fell through. The cold was a knife, lungs seizing, body shutting down. As I sank into the abyss, I saw her clearly. Eliza, eyes empty voids, smiling with frozen lips. She wrapped icy arms around me. Finally, company. They found my car days later when the storm cleared. The cabin door wide open, fire long dead. Footprints leading from the porch to the pier. Then nothing. Just a single set going out onto the lake. And on windy nights, if you're alone at a Tahoe cabin, you might hear it. A woman's voice on the frozen water. "Calling your name?"